Hi, this is Alex Gonzalez from In Your Phase. This is our last episode of 2020, and rather than talk about Age of Sigmar or 40K, we're going to be talking about Games Workshop as a whole and going through the 2020 dumpster fire of a year in terms of Games Workshop releases and content, whether it's the forward progression of an all-shooting meta, akin to 40K in Age of Sigmar, or if it's the progression of the dumpster fire that was not just 2020, but also 8th edition, turning into something that was a lot more palatable in the form of 9th edition. So do enjoy, and also enjoy this background that you see a little later in the episode anyways. This is Jeremy's Christmas wish, his sugar plum dreams of salamanders and croak and starborn seraphon. It's his favorite army to play against. Be aware of that if you play with him in Tabletop Simulator or on the table in the future. So his favorite army right now before 3.0 AOS is Seraphon. Give him his best wishes, and frankly, if you can send him or mail him some Seraphon, I think he'd really appreciate that. So yeah, that's his Christmas wish. My Christmas wish is, of course, for you guys to like and subscribe, and do rate us on any medium that you get your podcasts. So enjoy.
It's funny, Alex, you're the one that talked about it over the summer, the importance of having, what would our content be for different patrons, and the three of us we're like, no one's gonna patronize us, well, we don't need to worry about it, but here we are, and now I'm cycling back to that conversation that you started. It's like, well, what things do we want to offer? Like, what would our patrons be interested in? I mean, immediately, if you're a patron of the show, you get access to our Discord. But at a different level, do you want, are they going to be in the green room with us before the show, or access to the show notes? Maybe they have a copy of the show notes when the show is released on Friday, and they can laugh as we follow or don't follow the script for the week. For the record, no script this week. That's my fault. I was just, Christmas lazy. But
it's all good. No, it's end of the year anyways.
What would our patrons be interested in? So that would kind of be a neat thing.
I love how these like introductory are supposed to be candid conversations, but you could really tell when John noticed the recording button up top, and he immediately started speaking to the users rather than us. I loved that. It was just like John's like, and oh yeah, I saw the recording, so I'm now going to talk to the people about our Patreon that were like totally.
I'm just trying to offer Alex a segue.
No. And we will segue in a moment, but I will say for our listeners here, I almost exclusively assume that John already knows when the recording button hits. So I wait till Garrett's in the middle of saying something or Jeremy's in the middle of saying something, because I just assume that John's like on it, that he's just like waiting for it.
I watch it like a hawk.
Oh, okay. So everyone does.
I watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've caught Garrett a couple times with some candid stuff.
The last few episodes start with him saying something like real wacky, but I think the latest one is really fun because I waited till I had edited. So normally I keep it to quite a bit of the conversation, and I don't immediately record everything that's actually on the recording. I wait, a few minutes before jumping in, and little treat that we had was Jeremy's rant about ranch dressing. So I think the start of our latest episode just went, fucking Americans and their goddamn ranch dip, So that was good. He's like, this is trash garbage, and I don't know why you guys have it. But we do have a couple of different, a handful of patrons now, and thank you so much for patronizing us, sirs. We can definitely name them off today. If we were going to give that list, we do want to give a shout out to Andrew Simmons. We want to also give a shout out to Dane and Aaron as well. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, you guys are rad. You guys are going to make the dream work. I don't know how this is going to connect to the OnlyFans yet. We're going to have to figure that out. We'll be able to get that figured out later. But y'all can have some shows later on. It'll be a good time. We'll figure this out. But
what I can say for sure is I know that at least 2 out of 3 of our patrons are pepper fans that enjoy the spicy food. So hopefully you guys will still be listening to our show next season, and we'll all both continue to be members of the Good Boy Pepper Club, as it were.
The Good Boy Pepper Club. Hey, that actually sounds like a patron thing.
Yes.
Peppers. You get a little.
I like it. I'm in.
Yeah. Of course, wintertime, it is relatively hard to grow peppers. Jamie is waiting right now, and she actually has a few sprouts right now. We have a little green room or greenhouse in the kitchen that we have like enclosed and set up with the proper lights. And so she's got a few sprouts right now of a few things, including peppers. But yeah, I realized last year she tried to do peppers outside in the wintertime. And yeah, especially with Oregon weather too. I can even, I would just assume Californian, winter is probably not great for them, but it was just an absolute loss out here. So yeah, this is our end of year show. In terms of phases, I have not a lot on my plate. Again, after 2 weeks of self-quarantining, we decided that we were not going to be in, visiting anyone for Christmas. So now I have these 2 weeks of vacation doing absolutely nothing again. Still have not set up any projects, fully completed all the, self-care things of the household, including the home gym, including getting all the organization for my hobby shit, like fully in order now. So it's going to help my brain. I need to jump on the Seraphon and the Necrons and just paint them all up in the time we have left. But things are pretty slow for me at the start of the year anyway. So I plan on doing that pretty soon. Beyond that, no games. I think I'm going to get a game of TTS with Paul tomorrow. I'm drinking some iced coffee right now, or it's not iced coffee anymore. It's really just water. And not really drinking booze tonight just because the next few days are going to be very booze-centric, especially now that I know from Jeremy prior to recording that we can order booze now in Oregon. It's almost like it was something that should have always been available to us to get delivered. But in the state of Oregon, we have state-run liquor stores, much like many of the East Coast states. But yeah, we can get shit delivered now. I'm very excited for that. I'm very, very excited for that.
I mean, is it a sheriff that delivers it?
It might be. Ooh, that's a really good point.
You better tip well. That's all I'm saying.
It's just one of his deputies.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fine.
You gotta be DoorDash has to deputize you to join it.
Yeah. I would be totally okay with that if the sheriff decided, be only everyone responsible for delivering my booze to my house. Come on.
Yeah,
sheriff.
right. Getting a lot of games in of other non relevant 40K games. Done a lot of Vermintide lately. Did a lot with Vermintide with Garrett's brother Logan last night. He gave me the 411 on his on his new job in coming up in another continent. It's very exciting for him. He's gonna get his PhD. He's an incredibly smart guy.
He has his
PhD now. Okay, well, every time I brought it up, he kept on talking it down, which is a very Logan thing to do. But it was just great. It's always a blast playing some, killing some rats with him. And we're very much anticipating Darktide. Of course, there's no release date yet. Been playing Cyberpunk despite fully knowing that it's definitely not the game that it could have been, but it is what it is. Having some fun with it. Then, yeah, not a lot of hobby stuff beyond that. A potential TTS game. We are wrapping up, of course, the year, and I am not drinking booze right now. So relatively mild time in my phase, just getting everything prepped up for Christmas remote. And yeah, John, what about you? What's in your phase?
Well, I can tell you, Alex, I myself have been also gearing up for Christmas. Here it is.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. I'll be right back. Yeah.
So for me, there's been a lot of last minute Christmas shopping. Sent Christmas gifts out to some folks, in-laws and all that good stuff.
Speaking of that, sorry to interrupt. James told me about your Christmas gift to him, and he was quite surprised by it.
Oh yes, yeah. He got the giant
Seraphon shaped fruit basket.
Giant ziggurat of fruit. Yes.
Yeah.
I must say, Garrett, I considered sending you and your lovely wife a basket, and the simple fact is, all possible baskets had nuts in them.
I figured as much. I was like, it'll just kill us both, so it's okay.
So I couldn't send Garrett one, and then I thought, okay, well, Garrett I can't send him, but I can send one to Alex, and then so I looked, and there were none that were all vegan that I could send out of all vegan content. So Alex didn't get one, and then I said, well, if I'm not sending Alex or Garrett gift basket, I probably would be gauche to send one to Jeremy and his lovely wife. So I'm sorry, Jeremy. You would have got one, but Alex and Garrett ruined it for you. But everyone else
as usual
got
as fucking usual.
So that's the main part of what's been in my phase. This last week I did start building some of the stuff out of the hobby box from Frontline Gaming. And what I thought was a building is actually this paint rack, which I thought it was an orc building. And I started putting it together as a paint rack. So you can see it holds either those, or these are actually some contrast paints fit in there. And so I figured out that it actually holds 40 of the Vallejo style paints, or it holds 28 of the GW style paints. And in the hobby box, there was actually 2 of them. So I've got 2 of these. And so I'm thinking of actually taking them and figuring out a way to stack them up. You can see there's some little things on the side where you can connect them vertically. And I'm going to mount them on the wall here. And I'm actually looking at ordering a couple more, because I think that 5 of these will allow me to put, 200 Vallejo paints on the wall, which is actually just enough to cover my entire Vallejo paints. And then I get 3 more, and I can put up 80 or so GW paints over here, and then all my GW paints will be up. So at 40 paints per, I only need 8 of these paint racks to put all my paints on the wall. And over the years, that has been an ongoing struggle of mine. I think I showed a while ago. Nowadays, I ran away. But I used to use this wonderful nail polish rack that I picked up at a craft store. And this thing holds a lot of GW paints. But nowadays, only half of my paints fit on here, with all the contrast paints and the new technical paints from GW. So it's actually a real problem of mine, is this ongoing struggle to store my paint. So right now I have stacks. Oh, here they are, stacks of these cases right here, which are essential oil cases. And each one of them is filled with my various Vallejo paints, organized by color and type and what have you. So, and then I just have to remember, by colored a stripe on the outside, what type of paints are in which particular case. And there's a whole, of course, stack of them over there. So that's kind of what's been in my phase this week, is thoughts of continuing efforts to organize my paints and do something about it. Other than that, unfortunately, last week, I was drinking that delicious Di Serrano cream, and I left it in the hobby room. My wife pointed it out to me yesterday. She's like, "Oh, that's still in the hobby room?" I'm like, oh, has that been out of the fridge for a week? And there's enough alcohol where maybe, but I didn't even want to open the bottle. So I switched to Plan B, and I'm just enjoying this delicious Kahlua vanilla on the rocks. And it is a delicious coffee vanilla drink. You got to put your pinky up when you drink fancy stuff.
Because Kahlua is fancy.
The best. And so that has basically what has been in my phase this week. Other than that, looking forward to a few days off for the holiday. Can actually take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off from work, 4 whole days. Technically, I've been on vacation this whole week, but I've actually gone into work every day because it's like crazy busy. So whatever. And so with that, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Christmas. There is every probability that today, Christmas Day, you are listening to this amazing show. So Merry Christmas to all of you out there. If not, this is the day after Christmas. Alex, why didn't you get this on time? And with that, Garrett, what's in your face?
Hold on, before we go to Garrett, because there were no show notes for me to interrupt Garrett, I will say, I do apologize for the last couple of episodes in terms of YouTube. The episodes have been out on time. The YouTube episodes we're having a little bit of a struggle with. If our regular viewers on YouTube may see that I turn green sometimes, and I was trying to figure it out. I thought it was a software issue. Talking today with my colleagues, we realize it's probably more likely a hardware issue. So I'm going to release them, and I'm just going to be green sometimes. So fuck it. But Garrett, what's in your face?
You get angry when you turn green when you get angry, apparently.
Oh, I don't turn green when I get angry. I turn like magenta.
So I've had I don't know, it's good. I think a good phase this last week. So I've reached some fun milestones. So I mean, I know I've talked about it a ton, but for my D&D campaigns that I've been running, so for my Saturday campaign that I run with Sarah and my family, my brother-in-law, Sarah's sister's fiance, and then Sarah's dad are with us in that. And I have come to learn that the Ghosts of Saltmarsh book from D&D 5e, Wizards of the Coast, is a fantastic book, except it's a terrible campaign book. The adventures are linked loosely, very heavily in the loosely category. And so I've been feeling very disappointed with like actually having my players feel like they're in a cohesive campaign with a good storyline. It just seems like they're just doing odd jobs every new adventure. It's just like, why does this matter compared to the last one? I don't know. I think maybe some of the later ones will link back to some of the former ones, but it's feeling of like I'm kind of veering off course and not really going anywhere. And so after this last adventure, I've decided to take a break, take like 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks off, and I'm just going to start homebrewing it again. I'm going to use the book for its setting things, which is where I think the book really succeeds. It has a lot of things that help you build a setting around this one fishing town in a kingdom with all these pirates and like stuff like that going on, and a nice seafaring campaign. So it gives you a lot of flavor and like adventure hooks to just do your own thing. But the actual pre-built adventures are, okay, not well linked together to make a cohesive campaign. And then for my original campaign that I had started noticing that after playing 3 games of D&D 5e a week between my wife's campaign that she runs, my Saturday campaign, and my Wednesday campaign, D&D 5e is starting to feel a little stale. And so I'm actually going to be ending my Wednesday campaign and restarting it as a Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah. So I've heard good things about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and I'm really excited for it. I'm just a bit of controversy right now due to some current D&D YouTubers, but that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, like I did like a series of videos where it's like a Pathfinder has gotten a lot of attention recently. But I'm really excited to at least try something new. I'm a old Pathfinder fan, so I'm excited to try their 2nd edition. I've heard great things, and I've again now that I've ended basically both of my campaigns, kind of, and my Wednesday is flat out ending, and I'm gonna just basically bump ahead 5 years in the timeline and say what I'll have to just build what would have happened in those 5 years, and the players are going to start brand new characters in a later timeline, and their current characters are kind of just going to disappear.
You take their current characters and put them into advanced NPC roles.
Oh,
like such character now is the lord of a land, but he doesn't get to control them anymore.
So basically, the finale of my Wednesday campaign was they got lost in another plane of existence. So they basically they teleported and they got trapped there. So I might have them randomly appear or whatever, but as of right now in the current world, they're gone. Like it's a whole turning point where it's like this adventuring party, which had some geopolitical implications with some of the factions, they just disappeared, and so it kind of caused some things to happen. So I'm playing off of that. But I can start with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, so I'm really excited for that. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but this month I've been doing a lot of stuff at World Anvil with my wife, and this month they had a contest for, you have to write articles and stuff, and they count your word count of how many words you type. And I've been lacking, but my wife has hit over 30,000 words this month of writing articles, and she's been doing really well in this whole contest. And I'm like, she's writing all this. She's basically been writing content for a continent that none of us are actually campaigning on, just to fill out stuff about being like, she's like, all gnomes live there. She wants to be a gnome in my campaign. So she just wrote a shit ton of stuff about gnomes for her character in my campaign, which is like, I'm like, it's been a lot of fun. I like been having a So other than that, I played a 40k TTS game versus Ben Schmoller. I was last night, well in the past for listeners, but it was my sisters versus Custodes. I learned a lot. Custodes was one of those factions I was always interested in playing against because I've heard good things about them in 9th edition, but I've never seen them in action. I heard they were bad in 8th edition, good in 9th edition, and it was always one of those like boogeymen to me of like, I need to see them in action because like on paper I don't really know what I'm looking at. Let me just play them because they obviously play different than normal Marines, and I got to see them in action. It was really exciting. I learned a lot. I ultimately won. I think Ben was a little shaken up by some things that is going on in his life, and so he's not playing as optimally. And I was able to secure more primary objectives over secondaries, as we have we ended up both picking the exact same 3 secondaries, but I just secured more of the primaries with my overwhelming bodies of sisters and his not overwhelming bodies of Custodes. Yeah, that's been my phase. Jeremy, how is your holidays going?
Great. No, it's the holidays have been just absolutely phenomenal. I've been doing a lot of nothing, so it's a great part of the holidays.
Wow.
I'm enjoying WoW mostly. The new expansion WoW, a little bit of Cyberpunk, and not as much as I thought I was going to be playing. Mostly because the expansion was so good for WoW. And drinking this Nevermore, which was a gift from one of my wife's friend, which she left me because I was not home this weekend. I was in Bend, hanging out with Ben Schmoller. And the beer is actually very good. It's like this barley wines mix of cocoa. It's okay. So the description is barrel-aged black barley wine ale with whole cocoa beans and smoked figs. It's very good. It's very good. It's from a local brewery from up here. Just what I needed. And then I played a game of Sisters against Ben. Well, a game of my Adeptus Sororitas, still against his Ultramarines. Obviously, we had a weird exchange. So, picture this. He's got his giant block of heavy intercessors in the middle of the table. I got 5 multi-melta Sister Retributors with 2 of the Amo Cherubs. They pop out, pop their plus 12-inch range on their multi-meltas, plus 1 damage stratagem. They got reroll 1s from their Canoness, and they just go to town on them. And I think they killed 7, right? Now, those guys got to die and then activate. And they basically 3 of them got to shoot, and you didn't roll very hot, got to shoot back at the Retributors. But I ended up having the same mechanic because my rites of battle or whatever it's called was like on a 5-up, I get to shoot and I die. So he killed like 2 of them, or he killed 3 of them, and I think I got 2 of them or 3 of them. I made I think almost all of my. And by the way, Alex, you're green. I made almost all of Green with Envy. I made all my 5-ups, which was just insane. And I just returned fire and killed the last 3 of the heavy intercessors, and he was just like, oh, well, that just sucks. So that game was just kind of like a weird he killed Celsi in the first turn with one random multi-melta shot. Like I failed one save, and you rolled a 6 on the damage. So she just, and then I rolled a 1 for the re-up, so she didn't come back. But that's okay. And I was just like, I feel good about those exchanges. He just didn't know what to do with like the amount of threat vectors the sisters had. Like he just felt like too many bodies. We have decent cover. We had decent terrain on the table, so it was even harder for him to like get to shoot them effectively. And like by turn 3, like I didn't even drop like my Zephyrims yet, or like and then my Retributors in strategic reserve, and like most of his army was like already wiped off the table. So you know, I'm probably gonna start trying the Sister of Repentress I hear so much about.
Right.
So I'm looking for that. Actually, if you know, it's be cool to have some like. I always felt weird to have. John, you turned yellow too. What happened? Did you put like an incandescent light in your room?
Oh, I was just playing with filters.
Oh, damn
I
it.
was looking for a green filter to match Alex.
I hate this.
Okay. Well, Alex decided to cosplay the Grinch for this Christmas. All right, moving on.
God,
The one thing I would say, I'm very impressed with Sisters consistently. And maybe that's because the way I run them, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but Teleport Homer of Linebreaker and Ephraim Stern and Kaganel is fucking stupid. Like literally stupid. Like I was just like, every game I'm just like, okay, if you didn't block me off from deploying these 2 models inside your deployment zone, they're just gonna get 30 secondary points. Enjoy.
Yeah, that's not a bad. How much are they again?
125 points.
Yeah, I might just need to find. I might just drop 2 Mortifers.
In that game, I just teleported them behind cover, and then like a unit of Seraphins just sat to absorb like shooting, and then they were like, cool. And then after that, like he's like, I can't kill them anymore because you just wiped out everything that could like deal with them. I was like, yeah, and now they're just gonna rack up 30 secondary points. So I'm enjoying that. I'm looking forward to. I actually didn't get around to it, but my project this year is to finish painting them. That was my like resolution from this year. So I'm hoping I finish them this year. They're not quite that much, but like I'm about 60% done with them.
Jeremy,
so
you're beyond the point of hope, my friend. At this stage of the year, you either have a plan on how you're going to finish them or you don't. There's no hope was 6 months ago, my friend.
Oh, John, you don't know me. I will paint an army in a week if I need to. Like I literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Hey, I saw you
paint 1 miniature in a week earlier this year.
John.
That's true. So like I have a problem. I can get a model done like about 90% to my liking in probably like almost no time. But then the last 10%, if I'm trying to go like the highest painting skill I have, takes like hours. Like I will take hours on a model. And then the problem is like that 10% after the end of the process, I'm like, didn't really add that much. Like, so when you see me paint only 1 model at a time, or when you're referring to my Lumineth Romero, that's exactly what happened. It's like I'd get them 90% batch job ready, and then I'd spend the last like hours just working in the like all the highlights and like and doing some shadowing and so forth. And then after that, I'm like, wow, they look almost exactly the same they did before I did all this. So either I'm a very bad detail painter and I should just accept that reality and then just keep sticking to like the 90% quality that I feel comfortable with. But I will say, like, I can't even look at my screen right now. I'm gonna have to minimize Zoom because literally Alex's green screen is giving me like you know when you stare at the sun, you got like
disembodied.
Alex's green screen is giving all of us bad skin color. It's like shining green off of our monitors onto our face. It's a clash.
Oh my god!
Am I still green?
Oh, you're very green.
Yes. So
it's like a cool green too. Like I would be challenged
neon.
to create that
neon
green
80s
effect if I had to. Yeah.
Oh, it's gone!
Oh, I was like, oh, great. Okay, so it turns out I gotta crack this fucking this camera open. It's a nice camera, so I'll be very careful.
Just send it back. It's under warranty.
Yeah, you're gonna repair a camera?
Yeah, just send it back. It's under warranty.
I almost repaired.
I got this down. I got to repair myself a t-shirt.
Well,
I mean,
you
I
were close to
appreciate-
repairing a TV until I realized how old the TV was, and then I just went, "Fuck it, I'm gonna buy a new one." Like last week.
I do appreciate people who do repair instead of buying new items, but when it's under warranty, just why bother?
Fair enough. I'll pull up the warranty information.
I was gonna say one more thing on my holidays because I feel like we should have went over this since it's Christmas. This is my Santa letter. It's directed to whoever who will give a shit about it. Dear Games Workshop, please finish the Winterfell and fix Fangs of Sotek. Thank you. Only one item. Moving on.
I am shocked. In fact, I'm surprised you didn't change your background to the grind your gears and like proclaim sanctimonious from the mount your grievances.
Okay, I actually have a grind my gears here. So
no! What is it?
Wait, let me send you the graphic.
I know, right?
Been watching The Expanse. Whoop, there you go.
I just started watching that.
I did forget in my phase. I did finish running another one of my another one of my tournaments, and I ended up having to play in mine because of some drop situations and stuff like that. And I played against new Marathi rules, and I was playing my Sylvaneth with Alariel rules. Oh my god, I've liked Alariel. I think her rules were like okay. Playing against new Marathi, holy crap, does Alariel suck? Like, so Alariel has this great shooting attack. 3+ to hit, 2 to wound, rend 2, d6 damage. And then Marathi over here has a 2-up, 2-up, rend 3, d6 damage. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like, oh wait, I have 5 attacks at 4 3s or rend 2, 5 damage. She's got 8 attacks at 3 rend 3 damage. And I'm like, why do? And then she only takes 2 3 wounds a turn. I'm just like, and she's 540 and I'm 600. And it's just like,
you know why, right?
Why?
Because she smoked and she poked the right god.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's just like having a Lariel versus a Marathi face off and seeing them like go head to head. It's like, wow, does Molariel need new? If she's going to be in the same realm as Teclis, Marathi, Archeon, Gordrak, the big guys on the table, she needs a full-blown rewrite. She's just
I don't think that's a good comparison because Marathi can go to toe of every one of those things.
Yeah, but go toe to toe versus like
she'll win every one of those combat. The only one she has a hard time against is Gotrek Gurnison.
But it's just even like not even just a toe to toe combat, just like what they provide to the table, what they can do. Just like Marathi does everything. I guess Alariel summons some 3 Colonel Hunters. Big fucking whoop. Like everything.
Oh, she don't like your reroll 1s to wound or whatever? Come on.
Yeah, for a CP, Marathi does a double pile in or a hero face pile in. That's way better than a reroll 1s to wound.
It's actually better than a pile in. It's also a free shooting attack.
Right, yeah. So it's just like Alariel, the battlefield presence she provides is nowhere comparable to people in her weight class for 600 points. And it's just like, and I don't think you could make her cheaper because like, I guess you could make her like 500 at this point. Like, I don't know, but like, I just feel like I would rather
460 without the summon.
No, I even no, if she was 460 without the summon, she'd still be crap. Like,
right,
I just
price right.
I think she just needs a full rewrite. Like she just needs to be brought up to the weight class of people that she's supposed to be in the. She has 3 casts, but no bonuses to casting. Like everyone else is doing great. Like she's just doesn't make sense.
She has a bonus to casting. She has a bonus to casting.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she stands in the woods, right?
No,
she does. The basic foot one does.
Alariel. No, Alariel has no bonuses to casting.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Marathi.
No, exactly. No, Marathi has bonuses to casting. Alariel has 3 casts, but she has 3 casts, but no bonuses to casting. And she,
I don't think this should not be a nerf Marathi. It should just be like buff
that's what I'm saying.
all the other characters like this.
Alariel needs a full rewrite. Alariel. I'm not saying Alariel needs a full rewrite. There's things that just don't make sense about her. She is not in the same weight class as everyone else. She needs a full rewrite, and it's just like annoying as shit to me. seeing it.
Yeah.
I was always like okay with her, but seeing her go head to head against one of the people in her weight class, and I'm like, it was just my eyes were open, like, wow, she's bad. She's really bad. Anyways,
I think one of the big problems with her, to continue on my Grind My Gears episode here, and I know this is supposed to be, Christmas 40K, but we'll talk a little bit about iOS. Is she rewards bad decisions a lot of the times, because she has like the no dying penalty thing where she can only take 3 wins a turn. So people tend to use the big one as that kind of this aggressive toolbox unit, but they make like really punishing, like when you think about it, like if I send Archeon in this combat, he's gonna die. If I send like any of these like massively tanky like big characters, you're like in certain combats you're like, well, they're just gonna lose like in pretty quickly. Yep. And then she's just like, yeah, whatever, man, you're gonna be in combat for 4 turns, enjoy.
Have fun.
Yeah, I was like, she's, from a mechanics perspective, she not only does she have that mechanic, but she also has the whole like now she's 2 heroes instead of 1 hero, which means that they're from like missions which are hero specific, like that's 600 points. Like she's in really 600 points, guys. She's like 300 points of a hero because you have double the table presence. You're paying for 2 heroes, so it's 300 points a hero. That comes with 600 point tech. I wish Techless was like that, or I wish Archeon was like. In fact, Archeon being 800 points compared to her was just like makes no fucking sense to me. But whatever. Nagash also like kind of comparatively is arguably like overpriced now when you think about it. He's almost 300 points more expensive than her. And I mean, it's guys. It's I don't want the game to turn into.
Every major character needs to be repointed and have their rules adjusted to match balanced Marathi. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. Go check Denison should definitely not get adjusted whatsoever in points. But all the gods, like for the most part, and then Archeon, because he's not really technically a god, tend to be a little bit like when you make that investment, you're like, I am willing to sacrifice performance to bring this cool model. Like Archeon always ends up becoming like, I'm taking Archeon and like 600 points to make that guy work. If not, he'll just die to like a 400 point unit. If you're bringing a Techless, you're like, I'm bringing 600 points of Techless because the other 1,200 points in my army suck. So it doesn't really matter.
It's true.
And then if you're bringing, what's his name? Nagash, you're like, I'm bringing 900 points basically of support here. Like he's actually not bad in OBR. He's a good support character for 900 points for the output he has, but like it's OBR. So like you're bringing like a little bit of like toys and that's it. So it comes down to like,
you figure him and a couple of the catapults. That's like a great army.
But the problem is when you introduce 600 point Marathi into Daughters of Cain, like you can run easily like 40 or 60 snakes and Marathi in your list,
or like
it's
20 and 60 walking sisters. So you get bodies plus the snakes plus Marathi easily.
Well, you're sacrificing chalices. You're not taking as many chalices at that point, which is still pretty important. Or whatever the Hack Queen's ability is called. But the point is I'm trying to make is that like at least she can fit in the list and not sacrifice too much. And I think it's the fact that she's 2 heroes. Like it becomes down like you can't look at her as like 600 points. You have to look at it as like this is a 2 hero 300 point investment, and put things a little bit more in perspective, because people think like, oh, that's like 600 points. That's a lot but that's 2 models.
Yeah.
So
right.
like you have the ability, and they do distinctively 2 different things. It's not like they do the same thing. Like while the foot one gives you the double activation command ability, the big monster one gives all your snake ladies an extra attack if she kills something, if I remember correctly. Or like she has a mechanic where she gives so like fundamentally this, like they're forcing you to play a very specific design of list. And you're going to see Bloodsuckers come back because the double shoot Bloodsuckers are fucking terrifying now of the changes. So, yeah, I mean, like, Daughters of Cain weren't bad before, and now they're, I wouldn't say back up on top, but they got a good correctional fix because they felt a little dated in the meta. Anyway, that was my episode of Grind My Gears.
Time ago. I mean, that was a long time ago, and in fact, they were a book that didn't even get love this year. And so, with the end
They
of
never
20
needed it. They never needed it.
to be
They've
fair,
always been a good faction.
they were. You're absolutely correct. That is not a shock to anyone, Garrett. But of course, with this episode at the end of the year, we of course wanted to review how 2020 has been for 40K and for Age of Sigmar and for everything Games Workshop, and maybe a little bit more focused around let's say the shooty fighty instead of the fighty shooty. So 40K, or at least normally I would say that, but before Jeremy comes in and corrects me, yeah,
I was about to say
for you 40K,
that's AOS, right?
Yeah, that's right.
yes, that's right, Garrett. Yes, I was saying that. Yeah. So now that everyone knows where I was going to lead to, you are correct fully. Yes, Age of Sigmar for those 40K players who weren't able to hear it the first time. It's a shooting meta now. So, things have changed. So let's start from the top here. Let's go in quarters and we can talk a little bit about this here and try to remember all that was 2020. Now, this year, the start of this year, it didn't have that much. There was Las Vegas Open, which was really fun, the end of the ITC season. There were no necessary previews yet from Games Workshop, or at least dedicated online previews. They were all in-person previews. So, you had to go to LVO, and then there was the LVO preview that they would be posted online. The other previews didn't happen until the pandemic due to Nurgle's rot. And that
wow,
really
that's
started
right. So
in
the
March.
LVO one was the only live preview this year.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
So up until March, there was a lot of talk about the previews from LVO, which contained, Sons of Behemoth, hinted heavily but didn't outright say a new edition of 40K. They talked about the Incubi and Banshee release for 40K, and then one of the main ones was a lot of ramping up the hype for Adepticon's preview, which of course didn't happen, which sparked the first live preview, and then there was the Seraphon Battle Tome. I think that was the first official book release for 2020 because it came out in March, first or second week of March for Games Workshop. And, 13 days into March, then Adepticon was canceled and everything kind of shut down from there. But we did have that very first online preview, the very first Warhammer Online preview. And, it was interesting because it was all about, the special cartoons that were going to be coming out, like Hammer and Bolter for 40K. There was things that, it was the Elf for Wealth information when we went through a lot of the new Lumineth models for Age of Sigmar. Then there was some specialist stuff, and then they went into Psychic Awakening. So I think the answer is going to be no to my question that I'm going to ask you guys to start off this first quarter of 2020. But the big preview focus for 40K was primarily, it was the end of Psychic Awakening, but primarily the Fabius Bile book. And that one had Talons of the Emperor, it had Nurgle, it had Chaos stuff. It had I want to say maybe Grey Knights. It had one other Imperial faction. I can't speak for certain. With that preview, with that first kind of information that was released in Q1 of 2020, how did you guys feel that had an overall impact? I mean, Age of Sigmar and Seraphon release aside, has anyone even played Fabius Bile against Fabius Bile at all? And did Custodes get enough love in that Psychic Awakening book at all?
Yes.
They did? What kind of love?
No, I mean, like they got up to snuff with like they got basically sub faction mechanics, like chapters effectively for Custodes. They got more stratagems, and some of the stratagems are brought them up to speed in comparison to some of the Space Marine ones. I mean, the problem wasn't so much the stratagems or the sub faction. One of the big problems they're running into for the meta is the lack of like model range, right? And like if it wasn't for Forge World, like that codex would just be kind of relevant because of the lack of model range. they still need an update, but it's not related to stratagems. It's not related to Legion's rules. I mean, except for maybe one of them, which is the invul save one. Or they just need to be like a little bit more durable on the table. They feel like weak. They feel less durable than a Death Guard, but you know they're super Marines. Like I don't know what I describe them. They're super Astartes, and that's how they're supposed to play like, but they don't necessarily feel like they're super Astartes. And it's just because of the power shift inside the books. In terms of stratagems and so forth, they're just fine. But that's like, yeah, the book did add a lot to Custodes. Like one of the big ones is a shield commander mechanic, which was really awesome. Basically giving a secondary like universal or like kind of a secondary warlord trait in a sense to your commander. And you could definitely make some really cool ass commanders of it or shield commanders of it, but still, once again, it's not like individual characters is a problem. It's the lack of range in the model line. So yeah, it was a good release for Custodes. Like it was definitely a nice update to the book. It made like I said, giving transhuman like a version. It's like a super version of transhuman for Custodes was good. Giving the salvo launchers from the bikes the ability to roll 2d6 for damage and pick the highest was good. It's not just the salvo launchers on bikes; it's anything with d6 damage, but usually ends up becoming those. There's a whole bunch of goodie stratagems in that campaign book. I don't know for overall, like, have you guys taken a look at the non-Custodes section? Because honestly, I couldn't give a shit about the non-Custodes faction.
Yeah, I mean, if we remember back to earlier in the year, we're talking, by March, April timeframe, we were super enraptured in Psychic Awakening.
Yeah, we were.
Myself was working hard to complete my Psychic Awakening collection. A couple collector's items in there and everything. I was really getting into it, and I keep those visible as a reminder of why I shouldn't buy any more GW books. Books that I never got to play any of the rules out of, or anything. But the thing of it is that at that time of the year, we had no idea that a new edition was coming out right around the corner. So buying the new books, getting into it, loving what was going on. I myself was just coming to the end, so I thought, of painting my Primaris army, my complete Primaris army that had all the Primaris models in it. Oh, I was so wrong.
Indomitus.
Yeah.
Thank you for that meme, Alex. It's very appropriate.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
When was this? Was that this weekend or was it?
That was this weekend. Yeah, Ben put on our
nice.
Put on our Discord that you were dreaming sweet dreams, and
I did pass that at one point in the middle of I think I forgot whether I think they were watching poker or something on TV, and I was just like, good night.
so for those who do not watch the video cast, I was radio silent for a moment because I had fucked up twice, but I needed to make a meme, so you may or may not see it. People on Discord will see it. But it's just the sugar plums that he dreams about before Christmas morning. Jeremy's Christmas dreams. Yeah, or at least we're
not quite to Christmas yet.
We're not. We're not. But really, to come back though, John, did you ever play against Fabius? Did you play against anything from that Psychic Awakening book at all besides maybe Custodes?
No. Well, I played against the Thousand Suns stuff.
Okay, but none. Yeah, so basically that Psychic Awakening book, outside of Custodes, then we can all kind of nod our heads in agreement. It was wholly
because they came pretty fast and furious. I want to say that between January and May of that year, we got because I think I bought 2 of those in 2019, and then was there 3 or was it? I thought it was 5 came out. Yeah, like half of the Psychic Awakening stuff came out.
I forgot Blood and Ball. That's right. That's 4.
Yep.
And then, because I Saga of the Beast was the big one for me with orcs because they added. But I mean, I'm assuming Alex will get to there when we get past Q1.
Yeah.
There's our
But-
Fabius Bio book right there.
Yeah.
War of the Spider. Ugh. That
Wait,
guy
War of
just
the-
creeps me out. I tell you what, Alex, as a person who's also read a lot of the Horus Heresy, anytime there is a scene involving Fabius Vile, the cringe factor is through the roof.
Oh yeah, he's a little nutty with it. It's a he plays a strong game, being a total creep. But yeah, after that, of course, we were hit with the news, unfortunately, that Adepticon was going to be canceled. So Games Workshop did scramble, and they did do this online, that online preview #1, which was fantastic. Just to actually start that and to have that in our back pocket was very useful, giving people the information, having those live streams, albeit Pacific time, they were very, very early for a lot of us. And that really kind of wrapped things up for those first few months of the year. And of course, the pandemic hit. So, with Nurgle's Rot, we were really unable to get a lot of events. But in terms of that Q1, I think Jeremy and I were able to get a few events in after, LVO or around the time of LVO and just after it. But they were primarily Age of Sigmar. I personally was not playing a lot of 40K, and Age of In Your Phase wasn't even a thing yet. We were still very much a part of the wide world of wargaming. So at that time, we were talking a lot about that, and I didn't have too much of a presence in 40K, at least at the time. But with April came a lot of information. Right off the bat was the Adepticon preview, which was preview #2. For Games Workshop. And in preview #2, they gave us a lot of information about, more information about Lumineth, a bunch of stuff about Blood Bowl, specialist games. And in terms of 40K, they went into more information, not just about, say, cartoons, but they were talking about the CGI show for Blood Angels, which seems really cool. Still, none of this has happened. And of course, they started to give us the first information about the Pariah book, the final book of Psychic Awakening. So, they went into detail revealing with us the Farrell Stern, I'm probably mispronouncing that, and the Harlequin guy, which I am not going to try to pronouncing his name, but is it Kiganel? Okay, Kiganel. Yeah. And so, I fought against them on the tabletop. They seem just very, convenient points wise, for sure. They can be a little cray, but I think situationally in our game, it just never really worked out. That they were very helpful, but having 2 characters deep strike in terms of 9th edition can be pretty helpful for what, $140, right? Are they 140 points?
Up 25.
125. Okay. That's great. I mean, they will die to enough focused firepower if they're not protected, but like that's still pretty helpful. Just the fact that they can both deep strike, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to deep strike together.
They have to, yeah, which is great for a few of the secondaries for sure. And they're both 25 mil bases, so you can kind of finagle them wherever you need to if you need
32.
to, right?
They're
both 32s.
32.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
My bad.
There's not even there's no 30. I don't think there's any 25 mil sister battle outside of the Cherubs.
Yeah, I mean, Adeptus Ministorum, you have the Death Cult Assassins and the priests and stuff, but sisters are all 32s now.
Yep.
Okay. And then, of course, they did tease Sons of Behemoth, and we were all very excited about that for the time. And then that came to preview #3, which was just like 2 or 3 weeks later, and that gave us exactly what we were looking for. It gave us more things. So basically, the month of April was just a quick run of Games Workshop just jumping on and being like, shit, there's a pandemic. Let's just show everyone everything so they're excited, which, like, I get. I'm not going to knock them for that. But,
actually, I think it was a good thing. To me, GW is one of those companies that really stepped up early in the pandemic, right? They immediately changed how they were presenting and marketing to the world, right? With them were the live previews, but actually turned it into this entertaining and exciting kind of serialized show where they spread it out, the reveals out over the course of a day, over the course of a week. I think that really, if we want to look at, I would say March through June, GW really transformed how they once again once again transformed and stepped up how they market and interact with the public.
Totally agree. I totally agree. And yeah, anything from Twitch and actually interacting with people on Twitch, I don't really go. I'll be really honest. I don't really, unless it's a preview stream, I don't go on those streams, but I do follow them on Twitch. So, I get a lot of, because it's British time or it's London time. I get like emails from, 5 in the morning, 5:45 in the morning saying, a hobby hangout has happened or this or that. And so, it's really great that they've been able to engage people to that degree. I completely agree with you, John. And they did, of course, not only talk about the two characters from Psychic Awakening Pariah that we had talked about in preview number 2, but then they also gave us the Inquisitor from there and Illuminor Ceres. Granted, he didn't have that great of rules, and of course, with that book, that was the only Necron content that was on there. There was no rules for Necrons besides one character's data slate, and I think that for the most part, almost all of those rules have been invalidated anyways now, between Sisters Codex and Death Watch getting an update. I don't think
Psychic Awakening is in kind of a weird spot right now. Taken as a whole, about 2/3 or a little more than half is completely invalidated, and then there's still a small section that are still playable rules for a few factions, in particular stratagems.
I agree. And that of course leads us to May. And May, they just kind of revved the engines up. And of course
when did Saga of the Beast come out?
2019, late 2019.
Oh, Saga of the Beast was 2019. Okay.
Yeah. Gazgul, I think, was November or October of 2019. In late May or mid-late May, of course, they had revved the engines and talked to us about a big preview and not a numbered preview. And that was, of course, all 40K anyways. It gave us the 9th edition announcement, the 9th edition announcement trailer, everything about the Indominus box set. I remember we were driving down to California at the time to help a friend move. And, I was like, myself and my fiance and our friend, we were helping move. I was like, I'm not going to be driving the first leg of this because I'm not going to be napping. I'm going to be in the back seat with my phone and just like watching the stream, because we left at like 5 in the morning. And it was great. It was wonderful to actually like be a part of it during the live stream. So just like John was saying,
they showed this guy off.
Which guy?
The Judicator.
Yes. When they showed him,
my gosh, he looked amazing.
Hell yeah! When they showed the preview, the assault intercessors, when they showed the Necron warriors, me as a guy who has a bunch of the old Necron warriors, being like, okay, I guess I'm getting 40 more of the new ones.
Everyone going crazy about the new zombie Necrons, right?
Yeah.
More of an undead look to them, or decrepit, whatever you want to look at it.
What's that second gun on the Necron warriors? Oh man, they're not going to tell us the stats. Holy shit, what the fuck? And then of course, the very end, they showed the Breaker of Gods preview with like little bits and corners and pieces of a fully painted Silent King set, and everyone was just excited. And of course, we can't talk about the pseudo Fire Festival that was the announcement of the Warhammer 40K app announcement. And as us all, we play Age of Sigmar. I was very excited about the app, and of course we know how the app ended up, and continues to be. But we can only wish that they do better, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have lots of room for improvement.
There you go. Okay, so the app has a really good personality.
Yeah, it's got a great personality. John is having fun John's camera has completely unfocused off of him, and we have
he's enjoying his time.
So I'm green and he's unfocused. This is great.
Yeah, he's trying to get his webcam drunk.
I wish.
Fair. So really there's not much to discuss about that preview. And then the very next preview is going into Q3. were all about beyond the box. You know, they showed us the extra bits for Space Marines and for Necrons. They revealed the Void Dragon. I really appreciate the fact that they, you know, I remember when I first started like getting back into Games Workshop stuff in college after not doing it in high school. I remember Games Workshop was the type of people where, you know, if there was a leak at the time, they kind of hunted down where the leak came from and really kind of like put the smack down on those people. And you know, when the preview for, or when the you know, photograph of, which I'm sure they had leaked themselves, when the photograph came out with like the Necron stuff, with the Void Dragon and the Silent King and the new monolith and all that shit came out, and it was a bad image, they then like the next day posted about potato cameras and put a more clear image, which like kudos on you, because that's a really good marketing tactic, but also like there was no leak. I had a big kick out of that. And then from there, we just rode the wave, right? Lumineth came out. Who cares? Necrons and Indominus came out. They were fun. And a bunch of specialist games. What were you guys' thoughts over the summer of just seeing all the content and just 9th edition kind of like pour into you know, the now.
Well, I just want to say that 9th edition brought me back into 40K. I played 8th edition, really, honestly. Like, I think I played a total of 10 games at most.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I've played like almost no 8th edition. And so maybe 12 games. But so 9th edition has brought me into 40K. It's what kind of jumpstarts this podcast, I believe, where we all kind of like, we all want to talk about 40K all of a sudden. So it brought us all to our own independent thing where we didn't want to just be an Age of Sigmar group, and we wanted to talk 40K as well. So I started diving deep into 40K. So the 9th edition was just a great resurgence in my interest. I have really enjoyed the changes of 9th. And so, yeah, like that to me is the biggest thing that came out of it. It's just the 9th edition rules, and in particular, the 9th edition mission set with secondaries and all of that, and a consistent rule set that the community at large will all be using at all tournaments rather than having independently run missions that are outside of GW. So that was probably the largest takeaway that happened to me over the summer. It's just, I got excited about the game that got me into Warhammer to begin with.
That's wonderful. I think we all share that sentiment, or I especially share that sentiment, because I was like not doing anything 40K fully. And then over the summer, I was like, I'm not even doing wargaming shit fully. And then,
I think Garrett really nailed it there. I kind of forgot about that aspect though, that come, you know, late spring, early summer, the four of us were all really getting excited about 40K. And, you know, we were still part of a wide world of wargaming, especially in May of this year. But at that point, I think we saw that, you know, we were wanting to change who we are. We weren't looking to just, you know, drizzle out the wide world of wargaming. We were looking to really just reformat, and it wasn't enough for us. We weren't like, okay, can we make the wide world of wargaming a 40K and AOS podcast? No, we wanted more, right? And that's when we said, no, we want to do live streaming of games. I wanted to do some hobby stuff. We wanted to do, and that's when we started forming the ideas of engaging this whole in-your phase media. At the same time, my gosh, Indomitus came out. I myself got super excited about the Necron previews, and I got so excited about the Necron previews that I went out and bought Necron armies.
Yeah, but you are, I mean, you bought extra minis because you are a seasoned veteran. Let's say, dare I say, pardon my French, but antique.
I did. Oh, I have a classic collection, all the old school models. I would say I'm an avid Necron collector. You know, I'm definitely not old school. I'll admit it. You know, I haven't don't reach into the deep past. But no, I'm actually a massive collector, an avid collector, a deep, passionate collector of the Necrons. They really speak to my soul since July of this year.
Since forever.
But no, but really,
I like the running theme of the fact that he's.
The joking aside, these models started showing previews of the new Necron models, and the Indomitus. And honestly, I knew I was going to get some Indomitus sets for the Marine side, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get stuck with these Necrons. I'm just going to own it. And so, but other than that, you know, I mean, early summer, 9th edition, man, it's been a while since a new edition came out, and I got sort of really excited by the rules, you know, like how the rules were written, the packaging, the format. I mean, this new rule book, for those of you that have not read the physical copy of it, is amazing, right? The way it has the rules written in classic GW style, and at the end of each little section is a, hey, if you too long do TLDR, here's the bullet points you need to pay attention to.
Yeah. If you're not new to
there was
40K, read the bullet points, and then if you want the minutia, read the paragraph afterwards. But yeah, just read the bullet points of your experience in 40K.
Yeah, and move on. And that was great. Glossary, all these things. So just such a great edition. And as Garrett mentioned, the new editions for multiple editions, I would say 3, maybe 4 editions. The missions from GW have sucked the big wank. They are the worst. Nobody plays book missions. If you play book missions, you're not even considered to be a serious war gamer. You're certainly not a serious 40K player. You're some weeb, right? So that's what everyone thought of the book missions, right? Weeb, right?
Stupid
And
Were
towel.
they all
so,
towel-oriented
after that,
missions?
it became a matter of, are you, part of the masses that played ITC missions, or are you one of the snoffy elites that are playing Nova missions?
Or you
or
doing the
some
ones
weirdo
the
with
glorious
Adepticon
European meta playing
Uh,
ETC.
does that even count? Who cares?
Or if you were in your garage playing the book missions, Naruto running around the table. Just
No,
like,
you're a weeb. No, you're just a weeb. No,
You're-
people in their garage
Okay.
were playing ITC missions. Everybody was playing ITC missions. That was the bulk of what everyone was doing in 7th and 8th edition. Until now, 9th edition, though, and that's the whole point, has great missions, great secondaries, great primaries, a lot more variety of missions, no weird cards, all these great stuff that make good gameplay. So now the glorious meta, kind of like Age of Sigmar, is everybody is actually playing GW missions out of the book. Amazing.
yeah, it's wonderful.
Just that they can accomplish that it makes it a winner edition.
Yeah, and the end of that quarter, not only did it end with the start, it kind of ended with that 9th edition coming into full flex, but then it also did come out with In Your Phase. So hey, the end of that quarter was great, and then going into the final quarter of the year, and of course we're not technically done yet, but we might as well be. We of course got a lot of love for several codexes. The Space Marine Codex came out with all of its 628,000 units exactly,
And ATVs.
and their ATVs that can get healed, and was not addressed, and then a lot of other fun stuff. The Necrons came out, they had some fun stuff too. Since then too, just powered through them. This final quarter, not only did we get the Space Marine in the Necron book, we got the start of the In Your Face stats show for more information about stats. And then we've got the Sisters of Battle book. We've got wait, no, that's not new, that's their older book. Yes, it's not new at all. But then we got the Space Wolves book. We got the Blood Angels book. That's, I think, the most recent codex release. As with Death Guard, we got Death Watch, which people I feel like it was hard out of every codex release. I feel like Death Watch was the biggest one, where I either saw people say I fucking love this new book, or I saw people say I fucking hate this new book.
So speaking of Death Watch, our old friend Mr. Anthony Diamore,
Yep.
as you know, a big Death Watch player, big Death Watch fan. He has just finished building and painting 18 Primaris Outrider bikes for his Death Watch, and all 18 of them have different chapter symbols on them. And I asked him, he was showing me the pictures. I'm like, so are there any Easter eggs in there? And he has one that is an Alpha Legion armor, and it's doing like a phase transition into ultramarine camo.
I like that. That's pretty tight. I really want to see a photo. I'll hit him up. I'll see if I can get a photo of that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not missing a codex though, right?
That's it. It was the 4, because we had I think October
Necrons.
we had Necrons and Marines, and then we had November was Death Watch, Space Wolves, and then December we had Blood Angels, Death Guard.
Death Guard.
And then we of course have announced with the next of these 40K campaign books, we have in 2021, we have Dark Eldar, I think starting off the year with at least one other faction, one other Imperial. Yeah, Dark Angels, and Dark Eldar.
Angels in
so
January.
very dark. And then we'll see where things go from there, right? Like
I think it's done. I mean, what else would you need? At that point, we've got Necrons, Dark Angels, and Marines.
There are armies that need love. There are armies that need. So going into after wrapping up 2020, going into a very brief discussion about 2021 here, because I see Garrett's fading, and he's gonna fade out and sail to the west. And so,
as opposed to the journey to the west,
you don't sail to the west on the East Coast, Alex. You sail east.
I mean, you can. It's just going to take you a while, Christopher Columbus.
Okay, so you guys got the reference because I saw the light in your guys' eyes, peek up. You got the reference and then decided to play straight actual geography here. That's fine. It needs to be said that you understood it and then, never mind. Doesn't matter. We're not here for that.
The West, by the way, is the story of the Monkey King.
Oh, that is correct. Well, I was talking about elves declining and diminishing and sailing to the west. It's Lord of the Rings.
We got that, but I was thinking monkeys.
Of course you were. Really?
Just another English writer stealing a bunch of folklore from some older civilization. What? No.
I was joking.
God damn it, son.
I was waiting for a grind your gears moment. Anyways, I really
much like Christmas gifts, Alex is wrapping it up.
I am going to be wrapping it up, but I will say before we do so, the point I was attempting to make earlier was that there are books that truly do need updates very quickly, I think. So outside of the two that kind of wrap up every army getting an update in the last, say, year and a half or less, we need, yes, exactly. Orcs, I think, desperately need an update. We need bully boys. we really need Garrett to just go like head first into orcs.
I will say orcs are in a really strong position in 9th edition right now. I just feel very with the huge Imperium weapons update, orc weapons just feel very lackluster right now.
They are.
That's all. It's just like weapons just feel like
they're made of little wood and like no reason they should work. So take what you can.
Hey, they work because they do. Okay,
yeah, but orc units cost like 6 points for like 30 guys, so it doesn't matter if their guns are any good.
So orcs are the secret army. Their stuff works because they believe it can work. So truly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that wraps up my kind of wishes for 2021, or at least the first portion of 2021. Does anyone else, now that we're about to hit the new year, anyone have any sort of like New Year wishes of what they want to see in 2021, or at least the first quarter?
GW has taught me not to hope.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Wow. That's dark.
That 40K app has touched you bad, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome to the
I've shown you
darkness.
The AOS app, though. So that would be my hope, is that
like
maybe somebody on GW's team could take a look at this wonderful AOS app and consider it as they could look at their 40K app, which, while they did release the beta army builder, I spent all of 5 minutes of there before I got annoyed and said, yeah, the hell with this.
So John, homework. What I want you to do, what I want to see, if it's possible, is if you could somehow connect your computer and your phone together, where you can almost do a screen share from what your phone sees. Oh, Garrett's coming to it. What's going on?
Discord
Garrett?
just came out with screen sharing on mobile.
Oh, yes. Well then we can always do that.
As I say, because I have the HDMI output cable for my phone anyways.
Yeah. There you go. So we could do it either way, and we could see exactly what the app looks like. It could be a whole thing. You could just tap any shoulders you can, right?
And there goes.
No, at that point, all I'm going to do is bring up the salt-powered robot.
I was going to say, and there goes any chance of, any kind of Games Workshop sponsorship or anything.
Yeah, right. That would go kaput. But of course, that was, these are of course our wishes. And then I'm going to speak for Jeremy. He already mentioned his wish earlier. His Christmas wish is that fucking FAQ, so hopefully there's a big FAQ for Age of Sigmar, and that's the best we can hope for, right? If you guys do, of course, like this episode and want us to help fulfill your Christmas wish, let us know what that is, and we'll try our best to fulfill it. Again, the OnlyFans hasn't yet been linked to the Patreon, but you don't even have to be a patron to share your thoughts with us. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. Every other week we're on Frontlines Roll for Age of Sigmar. And yeah, we are of course on Facebook and Twitter at In Your Phase Media. This is going to be Alex, John, Garrett, and Jeremy signing off for the evening. Have a happy holidays.
Wait. I've got a bonus story for you. Okay. You made me think of something that did happen. Now, this is way at the end of the episode, so no one will actually hear that this happened. But you guys know I do the whole pepper thing. The last person that I gave peppers to this year was a manager over at an Apple secret site where I do programming and work. These guys, a week after I gave them the peppers, on a Saturday night, they were working late. They contacted me and FaceTimed me from the Apple secret site and got a bunch of Apple engineers together, and they all ate hot peppers. They ate the Naga Viper, they ate the Snow White, they ate all the hot peppers. It was absolutely wonderful. So anyway, sorry to interrupt. Anyways, with that, we're out of here. Good night. Merry Christmas, everybody.
There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.